I don't want to call it a crapshoot, right? But, right? And as I said, we owe it, I mean, Hashem, the first, now somebody mentioned to me earlier on the way in, we owe it, there are so many ways of looking at getting married. Part, I think, from a little bit that I've spoken to people about the issue, part of why people can't get married is that they only look at it as their own fulfillment. Even those who express the idea of, well, I want to get married so I can have a spouse to love, and I can have children, etc., right? But they're still talking from the self. So I can have love, so I can give them love, right? But part about getting married is simply just because it's a mitzvah, right? This woman mentioned, not having to deal with all the guy stuff, all the male stuff, right? But no, this is a mitzvah and that's a mitzvah, right? But if so in a certain sense, one can say to Hashem, I have a mitzvah to do this, and you help me do this mitzvah. I have a mitzvah to do that. I have a mitzvah to get married. Help me get married. We all talk about, the Gula Shlema, Mashiach, right? Marriage makes a place for that, right? Where a person can say to Hashem, you want to be in this world, you have to allow me also to get married, right? Someone mentioned before, and this is a very, I don't even know how to describe it. I don't even know what possible adjective to give to this word. Frightening, or frightening thing that at a certain point, not everybody can have children. Sometimes it's too late. So we think, right? And that is also a very scary factor. And it's a very, but I did not have the resources to look up the source. But we should know that anytime a couple is intimate, whether or not it produces physical children, that they'll make a kiddush for or a bris for, every act of intimacy produces children that will be born at a later stage in history. I'm saying I didn't have the farm readily available, right? And that's something the person should be taking into consideration and consolation, that there is no such thing as not being, right? The Melave also talks about this. Right now, there may be nothing to show for one's efforts, but in the future, there will be many, many to show for all such efforts, if done properly. Right. So Rabbi Nachman says, to make a shidduch for people who are on far ends of the spectrum, the person has to go and study the works of the tzaddikim, and to try to understand each one of us, right, to the best of his or her ability, how to live what the tzaddikim teach. In whatever area, whether it's tefillah, whether it's the study of Torah, whether it's the doing of mitzvot, or the big three of life, food, money, and sex, right? Whatever area it may be, the very fact that we tease out of ourselves based on the tzaddikim teachings, we squeeze ourselves a little bit more to be that much better, and it doesn't have to be a whole lot, right? So that's the closer we become. For all it takes, I will confess that I turned to my sister-in-law for a little bit of help. She got married when she was 40. And she said, basically at a certain point, one realizes they're running a marathon, and they just need a lot of endurance. Right? And that the real secret is that sometimes there's no answer that we see, and we just have to run on the emunah, right? And that we have to know, and review and hold on as much as the darkness grows stronger and the light recedes. So we have to hold on to that emunah that Hashem created the world as an act of kindness and love. And somehow whatever it is that we go through is a show of kindness from Hashem. Is this possible? Apparently Hashem thinks so. Is it easy? Absolutely not. Right? Is it, does it say something about any one of us that they're in a particular situation? That it say, is a person who's left-handed less than a right-handed person because they're left-handed? Right. Is a person less because their bank account is less? Only if they live in America they might think that. Right? People live, there's no reason to think that being unmarried makes the person less. It's hell. That's where we started out, right? That's one manifestation of the hell that we're living in. And that's, the secret is that there is no secret. Right? And the secret is it takes, a tremendous amount of endurance and a tremendous amount of faith, and the only, and the tools that we have, tefillah, the tools we have, coming to the tzaddikim to learn from them. Not necessarily, not for brachas and not for skulas, but just for basic emunah and for chizuk. And it's what we have to come to one another for. One of the big secrets, relates to all the questions that were here, that were asked about tefillah as well, is that what you do is not only about you. One of the hardest things that we, as in the West, especially those of us who grew up here in America, is that it's not all about you. That your particular situation, and what you have to do as a Jew is part of the work that you're doing on behalf of all of us. The quality of your davening and and the extent of the tons of words that you say, may not necessarily be beneficial for you, but they have a positive effect. So we believe, so we try to believe, right? For the rest of us, right? The Rabbi says, and I'm sure this is something that's already been expressed. I'm sure most people feel it, but aren't even aware that they do. Rabbi Nachman says, "V'golusenu and our golus and our exalt kaviyachol hakadosh baruch hu b'astaras panim." Hashem is hiding His face. That's pasuk in Tehillim. Histartu panecha, you've hidden your face. Right? We say that in Mizmor Shir every morning. Right? Hashem's face is His rachamim, is His compassion. But He's turned His back on us. Hashem has turned His back on us here in Golus, and our lives are a life of din.